call North Plains City Council meeting to order at 7:01. And we've done the Pledge of Allegiance. Where do we do roll call, please?
Thank you. Mayor Gumbrow,
Present.
Councilor Hagedorn. Present. Councilor Pittman,
Present.
Councilor Reddy,
Here.
Councilor Weber.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, next is consent agenda. I will entertain a motion on approval of the council minutes from January 5th and the consent agenda for tonight.
I would make a motion that we approve the January 5th minutes and consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Councilor Weber to approve, seconded by Councilor Hagedorn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we move on to public comment. Just as a reminder, council will not respond to public comment. Council may bring it up during their council report, but otherwise, by policy, council will not respond during the public comment period. So at this time, I have just two, Larry.
Correct.
Okay. So first I have Tara Van Dyke. If you come up, state your name for the record, whether you are a resident, rural resident, or outside the city limits, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi there. My name is Tara Van Dyke and I am a resident within the city of North Plains. Good evening, everyone. And I've submitted a formal complaint regarding the process used in a recent council appointment. And I just wanted to say that my intent of that complaint is not to make accusations or point fingers at anyone, but to raise reasonable questions about transparency and consistency and how these decisions are made. With another vacancy that will be coming up, I think it's especially important for the public to understand the appointment process, including the criteria used and how community input is considered. Clear and consistent process builds public trust. When residents understand how decisions are made, confidence in local government is strengthened. I appreciate the council taking the time to clarify these processes so the community can have confidence moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next, I have Emily Waldron on mayoral power. You come up, state your name, resident, non-resident, or sorry, resident, rural resident, non-resident, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Emily Waldron. I am a rural resident of North Plains. And I would like to speak about mayoral power. I think this council over the last year has been beaten over the head about the fact that we're not in a strong mayor form of government, but we're in a council manager form of government. And I would like to also let you know about ways you can kind of take back some power for the council. Specifically, I'd like you all to consider discussing and rescinding Resolution 2285, which was passed in December of 2024. The big thing with this resolution is that it gives the mayor the power to be the one who sets the agendas for council meetings. The reason why this is important is because the council cannot discuss anything that is not on the agenda. And by having the mayor be the one who's doing it, it means that whoever is setting the discussion for the evening and going forth is someone who's answerable to the public. We have had issues in the past where we've had a very large, vision change, as you might call it, in the last year and a half from the old council and previous mayors to the current council and mayors. And by allowing it to be the mayor who sets the agenda, it means that vision change that was chosen by the public is going to be carried through what you all are discussing in these meetings. It ensures that the public's desires and wants for the city government is carried forward. And it also means that if the public's wants, needs, and desires are not being discussed by the council or recognized or anything, that the public has a direct course of action because they can always appoint a new mayor and elect someone else to do that. Currently, it is the city manager who maintains that ability. And before 2024, that it was something that the mayor would do amongst other duties and tasks. And for whatever reason, the previous mayor and council decided they didn't like the idea of the new mayor and council being the ones that could set agendas and maintain a little bit of power the mayor has in our form of government. So just maybe have a discussion and kind of look at 2285 and you all being able to carry out what the public desires. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, no more public comment. Then we'll move on to staff reports. And first, we'd like to welcome Robin Doherty, our Director of Library and Administrative Services. Give the library.
Good evening, council, and happy new year. I wanted to add to my report that we got some year-end statistics since this is January. I thought it might be interesting for you to know our total checkouts for 2025 was about 88,000 items checked out from our building, which was up about 2.5% from the year before. And that about half of our items checked out are physical and about half are digital. So for more statistics and last year's statistics, you can look at the library board's agenda packet that's posted online. Does anyone have any questions about my report?
Counselor Weber, just a commendation, the Athleti Ridge partnership. That's wonderful, those kind of things.
Yeah. Yes, we support Battle of the Books. It's a really great program.
Yes, I wanted to say shout out to Battle of the Books because with 3 boys, that was always awesome. So I miss those days. Oh, and congrats to your intern.
Yes, it's really great to have an intern again. Mutually beneficial.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Chief Jones.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple quick notes to add to my report. First, just want to highlight in the report our 2025 call stats, our call for service total for 2025 is just shy of 3,000. A little bit less than 2024, but still averaged about 998 calls per FTE. And there at the bottom of my staff report, I included how that compares to some local municipalities that we are somewhat in comparison to and geographically in size. One thing that's not in the report that I wanted to add is just the Gordon Road update. You probably saw we pushed it out on social media today, and we talked about it a bit in the Friday 5. But ODOT did a traffic study, and it's been quite a while. I mean, most probably since 2024 when we first did it, my guess. Those things take a while. But it's determined that a speed reduction on Gordon Road, where it touches the western border of North Plains, is warranted. From 55-mile-an-hour rural road down to 35-mile-an-hour zone, stretching from Battis, which is the road south of South Highway 26, down to basically almost Pumpkin Ridge on Gordon Road. So that whole stretch, basically, as it touches North Plains, is going to be a 35-mile-an-hour zone effective. I believe the work's happening tomorrow. So last update they got from Washington County. And then kind of on the periphery of that, it'll go to 40-mile-an-hour before it returns to 55. The other update that's coming along with that change is the traffic control being changed at North Avenue onto Gordon. It's going to be a true traditional T intersection. So all traffic coming westbound on north is going to have to come to a complete stop for the north and south of Gordon, where now it's a right turn from here without stopping. Got to stop to the left. And with that, they're removing the stop sign on Gordon. So there will no longer be a stop sign controlling the intersection on Gordon Road at North Avenue. So Gordon will be through. No stop at 35 miles an hour. North will be a complete stop as you go north to south. I know it's a lot. There's a graphic we put on social media that hopefully will help. It was pushed out by Washington County. Hopefully help people understand. We're going to try to spend some time just educating in the meantime, in the most short term, before we take any kind of more serious enforcement action, because it is going to be that a lot of people are used to taking that route and not necessarily traveling under 55 miles an hour. So. With that, I don't have anything else to add, but I'm happy to take any questions.
Councilor.
Counselor Weber, so Gordon is a street road that you're allowed to give tickets on?
Absolutely, yes.
Councilor.
That will definitely be an adjustment that is going I think it took me about 2 years to figure out and remember the speed reduction on Warren to 35, so.
Yeah, I think it's long overdue considering that 55 mile road feeds commercial, it feeds.
Yeah.
Was Wasco, it feeds north, all that are 25 mile streets coming through the city, so reducing it to 35, I think will improve safety greatly, yeah.
I'll reserve my childish comments about taser testing for another.
Fair.
Thanks. All right, next up is Dustin, Public Works.
Good evening, council. I do not have anything else to add to my report. I just wanted to tag along. This has been with the Washington County speed improvements. This has been a kind of a project in the making for the past year and a half, 2 years. And the only thing I wanted to really add to that is the public works staff will be adding the radar sign that's on the east side of this town. And we'll kind of move it over there sometime this week to kind of let people know what their current speed is as well. With that, I'm open to any questions.
Councilor Weber, just a comment, the restrooms turned out great. I've been in and out of it numerous times. I think the getting rid of paper towels, electric canned dryers, great idea. It's much improved, so good job for your guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have a compliment from my wife who filed a ticket and on a graffiti and got an immediate response, and it was taken care of, I think, within a couple hours. So nice work. Like, that was impressive timing.
Well,
All right, and then Parks Board report.
That's just a written report. There was no one here no one attending the meeting from the Parks Board, so I did stick it under Public Works just because Dustin also attends the meetings along with the city manager, so. If you have any questions, two of them might be able to answer them, but.
did you get Brian's report in?
Brian Fee's,
Yes.
I emailed it, the additional one, yeah.
Just Councilor Weber, one comment on the parks. It has a section referring to conduct of a board member, which points out at the end of it is me. It's alleging misrepresentation of my authority. There's been numerous conversations about that since this happened. Planning Commission, City Council, I think people have agreed they did not see a problem with what happened at that. That there was not a misrepresentation. So my concern is to have this removed so that a few years from now, somebody's not Googling in my name and finds out that I am alleged to have misrepresented by calling a person on the phone. So I'm not sure how that is done, but that's what I'm bringing up.
Lori, have we received that?
I don't.
Okay, we'll figure that part out. We'll deal with the post-production, as we said. Okay, any questions with 3J?
Councilor Hagedorn here. I have a question on the Parks Board report. It looks as though are they waiting for a call to action from us to support them with the Louis Wens Park next steps?
I think we may need to address that to Parks Board.
Actually, councilors, I can answer that. No, at this point right now, they've heard what a scope of work should look like that is on the less expensive side of things. To enlist a planner or engineer to take a look at the Louis Wentz property and just identify its size and opportunities and constraints for any new improvements to it. And then once that's done, we have a neighborhood meeting, probably at the senior center, because it's close to everything. So it's just a matter of nailing down the scope, and then depending on what the cost is, it should be pretty inexpensive. So ultimately, no, you all probably don't need to, act on anything other than when the report is done that says, yes, or Lily could be this, it could have this on it. And it should be added as a project, to the Parks Master Plan, or it can be done with, this or that. That will be brought to you all for consideration and decision, but until a conclusion to all that is done, you don't have to worry, I would say, about anything.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is Rollin. Sorry, development.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. Just two things I want to highlight with my report. The first meeting of the Public Advisory Committee for the UGB Concept Plan will be in 2 days' time, Thursday, 22nd. I'll be taking place here in this building, 6 to 8 p.m. I know 2 of you are serving on the PAC. It's going to be a public meeting, and that will be the first time that the consultant team presents their first 2 draft memos, so it'll be an exciting time on the project. The second update is that staff did meet with Heather Austin from 3J Consulting this afternoon to discuss the zoning and development code and what 3J could put together in terms of information regarding different scopes of work for a code update, providing us information on the monetary costs and the staff time costs associated with different levels of code updates. And with that, I am available for questions.
Council, questions?
No
Comments?
questions? Excellent.
I just have one thing, thank you for the work on the food bank, the cleanup looks good. And if I were able to get that squared away, I know there's some challenges there, but thank you. And otherwise, yeah, I will, sorry, I lost the train of thought. Anyway, yes, thank you, and PAC meeting on Thursday, so please, to the public, please make sure you show up and make your voice heard, whatever your opinions are. And also please be polite and respectful to staff and members of the committee, because it's obviously a contentious issue, but we want to make sure that everybody gets their voice heard and we're able to move forward in a positive fashion. And next will be then, Bill Reed on finance. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So I don't really have anything to add to the finance staff report that you've gotten. What I would underscore, emphasize, is the information about the audit process for FY 22 through 24 under finance department activities towards the end of the report. As we had mentioned last month, I believe in the December report, we had planned to have a meeting between Marina Associates, our financial reports, our financial statements, and accounting consultant to meet with them, and at the same time with Umpqua Valley Financial, our auditors, and kind of formally map out the audit schedule given Umpqua Valley Financial's availability, because they audit for other cities as well as do tax returns actually. So they could only map out doing things when they kind of knew what their bandwidth was moving forward over the next few months. So we had that meeting last week. And so they have gotten from Marina documentation that allows them to basically kick off formally their FY 22 work. That should be a 60-day period, roughly speaking, starting from this week. Okay. I asked them how long do audits normally take. For repeat agencies who they've gone through the process with before, it tends to be about 45 days. When they take on a new city client, they tend to like to say 60. They like to do it faster, but they tend to do their first one a little more thoroughly because they haven't worked with that agency before, and that agency was used to maybe a different auditor or what have you. So FY 22 being the first one they do for us should take about 60 days, maybe less. Once that's done, Marina let them know that they would be able to have ready FY 23 financial statements, so that once FY 22 was done, we had a finalized audit. Umpqua Valley Financial will come and present the findings of the FY 22 audit once it's done for you all. But that FY 22 audit will have ending fund balances for all the city funds. And that will then be able to formally kick off kind of finalizing FY 23 financial statements, and then Umpqua Valley Financial quickly being able to start that work. That audit process should take the 45-day period. So we should into May have 22 and 23 done. The only variable there is Umpqua Valley Financial does do personal tax returns. So March, April, you can imagine what that's like. And they said, their public auditing team, you know, it's not a completely separate team. Some of the team members do work on, tax. I'm sorry.
It might cut out.
Give me that one.
You turn it on.
Okay, I'm back. So the audit team, some of them do some tax returns. So that's the only kind of moving part that might be an issue, but not much of an issue. Because most of the team only does municipal or public agency audits. So by the end of May, we should have 22 and 23 done and 24 staged to begin. Umpqua Valley Financial is contracted with us to do 22, 23, and 24. So there's no uncertainty about who and when once 23 is done. The emphasis is getting 22 done, and then 23 immediately thereafter. And Marina is kind of on that same page and in parallel schedule. So that's what I wanted to emphasize from the financial report.
Sure. Thank you, Bill. So just to reiterate, so by sometime in summer, we should have the completely current. As I hear this.
That's correct, Mayor. Yeah, based on them planning out and Marina planning out. So the other thing I would just emphasize that it also says in here, that folks missed it, is on the 17th, Umpqua Valley Financial will make a presentation to City Council about city audits and kind of I don't know if they're going to give a status report of what they're working on with the city or how much they'll get into it with kind of what their city details, or if that's appropriate for them when they're in the middle of it. I don't know how they'll approach it, but they are going to come and just kind of answer questions about how city audits work and what they look for and that sort of thing. So that'll be on the 7th.
Perfect. Thank you. That's a Tuesday again, just remember because of
President's Day. Yeah, President's Day.
Yeah, other Tuesdays. All right. You can get back. Thank you. Okay, so that's it for staff reports. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Counselor Weber, when I was reading up on previous audits, our previous firm, Bill, if I'm correct, was Pauley and Rogers.
Yes.
So was there a reason we decided to move away from them? Because you were saying it's a little quicker if you've already got a pre-existing one. So I noticed we're leaving them and going to the new Umpqua.
Yes, Counselor Weber, yeah. So the previous city manager, after some experience with audits with them, it was decided that we needed to find a different auditor. Marina actually used to be our auditor up until I think 2012, 2013, and then we were with Pauley Rogers for a few years then. So we moved over to a new auditor after I won't get into the weeds of it here, but it was time for a new auditor. So we're now with Umpqua Valley Financial.
Counselor Weber, just to follow up, I mean, obviously I'm new here, but I noticed in the past, Mayor Linehan and that council by resolution hired Pauley and Rogers. So is there a reason, I mean, they seem like a good choice, but is there a reason there's not a resolution to formally hire them?
I would have, Counselor Weber, I would have to look back and see what the issue was, about why there was not a resolution.
No, I'm just saying there was a resolution to hire them. There was no issue. I'm just asking now, is something changed the protocol to not have a resolution to formally? Umpqua seems like a great choice,
Yeah.
but I'm just curious why there's not a resolution.
So it would, Councilor Weber, it would boil down to, how much the contract cost was, over 50,000 or under, and over 50 requiring city council approval. So that would be why there would be a difference.
So the cost for the next 6 months for, our auditor is gonna be under 50,000.
Under 50. Anything, generally speaking, anything over 50, has to, sorry, I was just heard somebody joining. Anything over 50 has to come before you all, to check off on the process and approve the contract. Anything below that basically is still competitive bid, still, find a qualified and go through the process of finding a competitive, competent bid, but it doesn't require coming for council approval. Under 50.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. So next, moving on to resolution. So, next resolution is 2329, appointing Mark DeForge to city council through December 31, 2028. It's time to entertain a motion.
Counselor Weber, I would move to approve resolution 2329 of way for the Forge to the city council.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Weber to approve 2329, seconded by Councilor Hagedorn. All those in favor, say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Okay, motion carries. So Mark, if you want to come up, and Lori, you want to swear again?
Okay. I think we stood kind of up here before, so what do we do? So if you get on the camera, I want you to get it away from me. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, or read after me. I state your name.
I, Mark DeForge,
Swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution
swear that I will faithfully support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Oregon,
and laws of the United States of America and the state of Oregon,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of North Plains.
and the charter and ordinances of the city of North Plains.
And I will perform the duties of city councillor for the city of North Plains
And I will perform the duties of city councilor for the city of North Plains
to the best of my ability, so long as I may continue in that capacity, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so long as I may continue in that capacity, so help me God.
And I will sign. We'll both sign these at the end of the. So you may have a seat. Right up here.
So we'll just, give, Councilor Forge a minute to make any comments.
Yes.
Got to lead into a little.
I'll just say thank you. Looking forward to this, forward to working with the team and the staff.
Thank you, Councilor, and I just want to take a moment and recognize Councilor Weber and Councilor Ford as our new councilors. Grateful to have them here. This is a volunteer opportunity, so it's definitely, I should not go without notice that people are putting in a lot of their own personal time, and we appreciate that. And on that note, as everyone should be aware at this point, Councilor Page, made the difficult decision to resign, I believe it was on the 9th of January. He's taken a new career turn, let's say. He's put a lot of time in the city, and we're very grateful to be somebody that I have considered to be somebody that, he put a lot of time into helping me. And he'll be missed, but we're also wishing him well on his new career journey, and hopefully he is successful in that as he was successful in his previous career. So with that, we have a resolution. Resolution 2330, declaring a vacancy on council, so I will entertain a motion on resolution 2330.
Counselor Weber, I would make a motion that we approve resolution number 2330.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Weber, moves to approve resolution 2330, declaring a vacancy on the city council. Councilor Hagedorn seconds. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So 2330 passes. Next, we come to resolution 2331, to appoint, my best, I think it's Anise Zaman. Zaman. Almost got somebody's name right today. So close. Anise Zaman to the Economic Development Commission. I'll just say that I had the opportunity to listen to his interview when I was the ex officio on EDC, and I thought he spoke well for himself, and the EDC was very impressed. So with that, I will entertain a motion on resolution 2331. Appointing Anise Zaman to the Economic Development Commission.
So moved that we would approve resolution number 2331.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Pattern here.
Yeah.
Okay, moved by Councilor Weber and seconded by Councilor Hagedorn to approve resolution 2331, appointing Anise Zaman to the Economic Development Commission. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we come to the resolution 2332. We do have two applicants, so I will need a nomination in a second, I believe.
No, they made the recommendation, but you asked to see both the,
They make the recommendation, but per the guidance to staff, I forget when it was, Bill, we said they need to bring all candidates forward, correct?
Correct.
Correct. They interviewed and made a recommendation, but the other application, that was part of the process is before you also.
Yeah, so I'll need a nomination and a second. So are there any nominations for the Parks Board?
I want a question.
Or question is fine too, sorry.
Counselor Hagedorn here. Can staff confirm if all applicants had equal opportunity to participate in the interviewing process?
they were all invited,
Properly noticed, et cetera?
I send out emails when I get their applications and say, it'll be on this, at this meeting, at this date, at this time, at this location. And in fact, they pushed it from December. They had one applicant and they wanted to leave it open for more applications. So at that time, I replied back and said, this is pushed to the January meeting, which was the last Monday, whatever that date that was, 12th, maybe. At 6 o'clock, that just means, I don't send reminders or anything. I feel like we're all adults, and
Okay.
if they get notified of all the information they need, then that's it.
Thank you.
So
I would make a motion to nominate Brian Van Dyke to fill the vacancy on the Parks and Recreation Board.
Okay, I have a nomination from Councilor Weber for Brian Van Dyke. Is there a second?
Counselor Redding, I'll second.
Give it to Councilor Reddy.
Okay.
what'd you say? We'll go with Councilor.
We'll give it to Councilor Reddy.
Okay,
So,
just for a
hold on.
change of pace, is that it?
Yes, I like to mess things up a little.
Okay,
Okay, so Councilor Weber nominates Brian Van Dyke, Councilor Redding seconds. Do I have any other nominations? Hearing none. Okay, so then we will move forward with the resolution as written. I will entertain a motion on resolution 2332. Appointing Brian Van Dyke to Parks and Rec Board through December 31st, 2027. Sorry, yeah. So I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a resolution for the approval of resolution number 2322, appointing Brian Van Dyke.
Okay, motion's been made to approve resolution 2332, appointing Brian Van Dyke to Parks and Rec Board through December 31st, 2027. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Weber, moves to approve. Counselor Hagedorn seconds. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along, people. All right, next I have resolution 2296, adopting parks and recreation bylaws. I'll entertain a motion or any comments.
Okay. Counselor Hagedorn here, I've got questions. Mr. Reed, can you summarize the intent behind, reviewing this, the second pass of this resolution? I know we voted, and approved it with some corrections last February. And I did reconcile the new language versus the old, and it looks very the same. And in fact, there are some, the February 2024 errors are still in this document.
I'd be happy to, Councilor Hagedorn. So I guess what I will do is I will reserve verification of errors still being there with conversation with Lori, who handled that part of cleaning it up and worked with her on that. The big things that the substantive changes to the draft that's before you versus what you saw last February have to do with modifying the language on powers that the Parks and Rec Board have over their own membership and bylaws. In the bylaws that came before you in February, the language of their bylaws stated two things that were problematically in contrast to code. One was the bylaws as written in February had language in them that said members who act contrary to the interests of the Parks Board or serial absent can be removed from the Parks and Recreation Board by a majority vote of the Parks and Recreation Board. That's not consistent with code. The Parks and Recreation Board can recommend removal or notify you that there's something problematic about a member, and they deliberated and recommend that person not be on the board anymore. But they themselves can't vote someone out of membership of a board that city council determines the membership. Okay. So the version that you have before you has language in it modified to state that by majority vote, they can recommend recommend to you all that somebody be removed from the Parks and Recreation Board if and only if they have serial unexcused absences or they act in some manner that's contrary to the goals and objectives of the Park Recreation Board in the code, basically. Or their bylaws, which are largely based on the code. The other inconsistency had to do with how bylaws are changed for the Parks and Recreation Board. In the February version that you all saw before, the Parks and Recreation Board bylaws language stated that the bylaws could be changed by the Parks and Recreation Board or got rid of by a vote of the majority of the Parks and Recreation Board. They don't have the authority to change on their own, change or remove their rules. They're required to have rules by code. So that's one. But number two, they can vote on changes and recommend them to you all to consider for adoption, but they themselves can't vote to change their own rules. So the version in front of you has it that a majority vote by the Parks and Recreation Board can recommend to you all changes to their bylaws. But you all have to be the ones to approve any changes of bylaws.
Thank you for the summary. I have another follow-up question. When we approved this in the February 24 round or review, we asked the Parks and Rec, then board's future committee, TBD, to quantify or define chronic absentee or their serial absences and for the purpose of updating this. Any luck with that yet? I did not see that in this document either.
I don't recall that they determined a number of meetings in a row, like if they cut it off at 2 or not. I think they just determined it as repeated absence. I mean, I think.
I can go back and listen,
Yeah.
and it might have been so many absences in a 12-month period too. I honestly don't.
It seems like there's a couple of. Councilor Agron, just to clarify, so there was a couple of errors you mentioned, just either grammatical errors or something of that nature, and then the serial absences wanted a definition on. Was that kind of the two main concerns you had?
Yeah, this document doesn't reflect what we agreed upon on last February.
So, just as a procedural question to Bill and Lori, just to make sure I have this right. I think if we do move to approve this with those amendments, as long as they provide those amendments, we can approve it now or just need to go back to them to be fixed. If we were to decide that.
Honestly, it's up to you. You all adopt and change bylaws.
Yeah.
So if there's a certain number of vacancies, or if there's a certain number of absences that you all want to nail down and adopt with that, or you can just send it back to them to elaborate on and specify.
What's the council think?
Counselor Weber, I mean, I was involved in some of those discussions. It sounds like, feeling I got from the group is they did feel like that was a huge issue, having to agree on a number. So I think they'd be fine with what we have before us and we don't need to kind of belabor it. I would have to go with what we have.
Councilor Payton, Councilor Redding, any thoughts, comments?
Counselor Redding here. I'm just following up with your lead, Aaron, of clear and concise language. And I agree. I have it highlighted here. After discussion, the council decided to approve bylaws with noted typos corrected and to send the question to defining excessive absences back to the Parks Board for further input. I don't feel like it was fixed after we approved it last time, so I'm not comfortable going forward, approving it with noted typos corrected and stuff. I want to see it, in whole, as accurate as it could be in front of us.
Councilor Payton?
Thank you, Councilor Payton. I would echo what Councilor Redding had mentioned. I was trying to think back to, I actually think I attended one of the Parks Boards as an ex officio during some of this discussion. And for whatever reason, 25% of missed meetings within a 12-month period is what's replaying in my mind. However, I am hesitant to move forward until we have some clearly defined time frame. Again, just for the sake of clear and consistent and passing through each generation of boards and commissions, I think it's just better to have a definitive number. So my instinct right now is to pass this back to the Parks Board.
Word, thoughts?
I support that. Let's get it fixed.
Okay, so I think the consensus, Bill, is then let's send it back. And since we have a new Parks Board member here, he can carry that message back to them and just make sure that's clear. And this is Rowan's fault because now everything must be clear and objective for Rowan because she's beaten that into me, or they beat that into me, sorry, so many times that now it's all I can think of. So every time somebody says something, I always look for clear and objective now. So yeah, we just need to make sure that that's completely clear and then any grammatical corrections are dealt with. So thank you, counselors. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the clarifications. All right, so moving on to electing a council president. So just a brief process thing for everybody here and in the audience. So the first meeting of the year, we're supposed to elect a council president. However, by consent or by council consent, we decided to delay that for one meeting just thought we would have a full council, and then I got an email from Councilor Page, but I don't want to delay this any longer, so we're gonna go ahead and elect a council president. And just to remind everyone, the role of the council president is effectively to run meetings when the mayor's not present, and also to be assistant to the assistant, I don't know, to basically be here and handle that. And in some cases, could be the bank signer, but we've decided, I think we decided in the previous meeting, that's not required, it's just how it was normally done. So with that, I will open up nominations for a council president or volunteers. I think we need a nomination though. You can nominate yourself, please.
Counselor Hagedorn here, I move to nominate, newly elected Counselor Weber.
Okay, I have, Councilor Hagedorn nominated, Councilor Weber, do I have a second?
Are you interested, Counselor Weber?
That's probably a fair question, what we second,
Can we send it back to Counselor Hagedorn?
Can I comment?
if you'd like. Well, hold on, no, I need a second before we can comment, so I'll second so that you can comment.
I would prefer to have the choice be someone who was elected by the citizens. I love my position, but simply being appointed, I think the courtesy should go to those who were elected by the people.
I think that's a decline.
Yes.
Counselor Ford will nominate Counselor Hagedorn.
I would second that.
All right, Councilor Hagedorn, you willing?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. Councilor DeForest nominates Councilor Hagedorn. Hold on a second, turn this down. Councilor Weber seconds. Okay, do I have any other nominations? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of appointing Councilor Hagedorn as council president, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Council President. Okay, next, I did ask, Bill to put this back, Bill and Lori put this back on the agenda, because I think, now Councilor DeForge, before he was Councilor, did mention that he was interested in this. So Councilor, DeForge, are you willing to serve as the PAC representative the council?
So what?
Thank you. Just as a reminder to Councilor Weber and Councilor DeForge, first of all, Councilor Weber can't show up hungry. I think that was made pretty clear.
That was.
Yes, wise choice. Also, in all seriousness though, just remember you're representing the council, so go out there, give them what you believe that we want, but also please bring back a good council report to us. That is going to be very important for us to be able to deliberate in council, in public, but you're our eyes and ears. I won't be at the meeting anyway, because I have to be at the chiropractic event, which by the way, everybody should attend if you're not at a PAC meeting.
Do they have snacks?
See, this is why I picked Pete. Sorry, everyone, but there's food. I'm just kidding. No, this seriously though. I would encourage everyone that can possibly to get to the PAC meeting and make your voice heard, but again, please be polite, respectful, and thank you, Councilor DeForge. Are we good, Bill, with the SWAT? Okay.
Yes, Mayor, that's great.
Okay, I want to make sure we're doing things right. Thank you. Okay, so now I'll take volunteers. Do I need volunteers or I need a motion on the bank signer?
You probably want a willing volunteer.
Well, that's what I was saying, let's not nominate this time.
But do you mind if I just give a little bit?
Please do, yes, that's great.
Yeah, so it's customary for us to have 2 city councilors to be recognized as signers, basically in an emergency, which I have yet to see one needed over the last 6 years, but we have 2 city councilors who are bank signers, and we go through a process for Heritage Bank to get you signed up, and you're not signing over any, oldest son or anything like that, but the bottom line is it's for emergency purposes, basically. Traditionally, it's been the mayor and the council president. But because we had a change in bank signers that required one of the signers having to be not a mayor or a council president last time, we consulted our auditor and they said it doesn't matter. As long as you have 2 city councilors, It doesn't have to be mayor and council president. So it's up to you who you have. Mayor Dumbrau is currently a signer on the account. So it's really just a matter of whoever you would like to be the second.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I like, Councilor Hagedorn here, I like your cautionary tale, considering we had a train derailment over the summer. So,
Are you volunteering?
sure, if I'm more than happy to volunteer.
Any other volunteers, or is everybody go to Councilor Hagedorn doing it? Good. I've never had to sign a check, so
Concerned you should live on the same side of the tracks.
that's a fair point. We should have one on each side of the tracks going forward, but in this case, we'll allow it.
So we'll have a resolution adding you, but it'll be on the consent agenda at the next meeting. It's just a clerical resolution.
Okay. And with that, we move to the city manager report and, oh, city council business calendar.
Somewhat, well, I discussed some of that. Just want to go over a few things if you don't mind.
Oh, please, yes.
Okay, so first off, we heard from Chief this evening for his monthly report. The news that we are here to share with you all is that our own Chief Jones is going to be promoted to lieutenant in the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Now, before you clap too much, that means that from March to September, he won't be with us and we'll have an interim chief. That process has just started, we understand, to take volunteers to be the interim chief here in North Plains. Chief Jones will be, his assignment will include some oversight and involvement with us still, but it'll kind of be from a different place in Washington County Sheriff's Office. So he's not gone completely, he's just not here day to day. During the month of February, we can expect that the interim will be shadowing him, working with him to kind of get used to North Plains, meeting everyone, that sort of thing. So, but his absence should start in March and it's a 6-month period. So letting you all know that. Number two, what I wanted to get to is in the Friday Five, you all got some information about that. The city has been not yet guaranteed committed funds, but the USDA rural program, we have been allocated $1 million federal dollars for the Civic Center project in downtown North Plains on Commercial Street. That's a project you all haven't dug into. It's part of the downtown improvement plan and it's part of the original, frankly, it's one of the projects in the urban renewal plan. And that is a new city hall, civic center, council chambers, and additional space for a variety of city departments, that sort of thing. There is a process that we haven't even begun to go through to provide information to USDA, qualify project information. This is money that we have 3 years to plan with and figure out the project based on updated numbers and city council preferences and that sort of thing. But it was put into 2 years ago, actually, prior city manager and previous membership on city council. An ask of $1 million was put into a bill before Congress to allocate $1 million from USDA rural, and it came through. So there will be some news about this in the coming weeks, and we as a city have to navigate it basically. So it's a big win for North Plains, but there's a lot of work between now and what happens for something to happen. So just letting you know, that's been announced, and that's a pretty big thing. So we're still early in the process. There'll be more later. The next thing would be work sessions over the next few months, or next few weeks, next few business meetings. Right now, continuing with the schedule, we have on February 2nd, interest in a work session about a strategic plan for city council with its full new well, not quite yet full new membership. That's a question regarding if you want to talk strategic plan on the 2nd of February, because now you do have a new vacancy? Do you want to wait until you're all 7 in place, or that's up to you? February 17th, the schedule continues to be a code enforcement discussion. March 2nd, we still have on the calendar a work session to discuss the idea or ideas for a charter change and explore that. March 16th, we tentatively have a work session to discuss right-of-way maintenance and code enforcement regarding that. And again, that has to do with the fact that before we really started growing, it was pretty easy for staff to just kind of mow public right-of-way in front of homes. And that's not so easy anymore. And it's hard to also be fair to everybody by doing it for some and not for everybody else. So that's a conversation planned for the 16th at this point. And then on April, the first meeting of April, we have penciled in for the URA board, just to talk about a variety of URA grant program ideas that the EDC will have kind of chewed on and been able to, we'll be able to elaborate on that for you in a work session. So that's the schedule now. If any changes, suggestions, this, we welcome them all, so we can plan for you.
Any questions, comments, or requests for change?
Did anyone besides Councilor Fage want to do the charter thing? Is that?
Yes, I have some things I want to bring forward.
Okay.
Mayor,
Any other? Yes, please. Councilor.
what about the Councilor Redding here? What about the communications strategy? We discussed the QR code in the water.
Oh, that is, yeah, that should actually be council reports, but go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, sorry about that. Council Redding, so administratively, we're planning on doing that. My bi-weekly meeting with the mayor, I briefed him that we are looking into sending the newsletter that's usually in the water bill, sending it out separately from the water bill, and having things like QR code polls in that, and then just keeping the water bill super simple and cheap to print. But then putting a little bit more money in kind of a nice looking newsletter that goes out separately. And so polls and surveys via QR code, we'd be able to kind of dedicate space for that and do that super easily. So that's in the work section.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll just say on the strategic plan, I was really trying to hold off until we had a full council, but I also feel like we need to make progress. So my opinion, and again, 1 of 7, my opinion for 6 now is that we should move forward. Because what we're doing is we're putting a strategic plan, or we're putting SMART objectives in front of or behind the pillars, I guess, to say that these are the ways that we're going to accomplish the pillars that we set out last year. So that is my 2 cents. But if anybody disagrees, we can move it. I want us to make progress. So that's why I asked Bill to bring that up so that we could have a brief conversation. And if somebody has a difference of opinion, then let's talk through it. Okay.
I guess if you don't mind me asking, Mayor, ordinarily doing that effort is usually kind of a couple hours, and usually on a weekend, so you guys can really chew on stuff. Is your thought to do all of that during a work session 1 hour before council, or were you looking to do something a little more?
I see where you're going. So are you thinking the offsite?
Well, I think we kind of talked, we kind of talked a little bit about the upcoming need, maybe kind of workshop or talk about things kind of in a longer meeting instead of just in a defined 1 hour or 15-minute segment. So I just want to put it out there that it can be done that way. It would just be a matter of your interest and schedule.
So I'll bring that up during my council report, because we're gonna come up with, I'm gonna need 3 dates from each of you by the end of the week on when we can do an offsite, which will be a weekend, a full day. So I guess, let me throw the question back to you. If we were to say, let's move that to the offsite, like we kind of were thinking, would we be able to just shift everything forward one? Could we do code further, or would we need to put something in there, or, God forbid, not have a work session?
I would say that having an hour work session for strategic plan, if you're gonna plan on doing it offsite on a weekend, is completely redundant.
Okay.
So it frees up to do whatever you like. It could be a break from work sessions, or we could move something else. I think given the changes with chief and the interim coming in, I think it would probably be a challenge to move up the code enforcement conversation to the second. But if you would like to move something else up, I think that would probably be easier.
How does Dustin feel about the right of way maintenance?
It's a conversation that's need to be had before April when the right of way, season, starts up again. So it needs to be sooner than later.
How does council feel about moving the right of way to the second and moving the strategic plan to the offsite? Getting a lot of thumbs ups.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see, Bill. This is why you're here, right? There you go. Makes sense to me.
Okay.
And then we can move something into the 16th, but we can work that out when we come to it. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay, work sessions, anything else from the city manager report?
I would say, I guess I would just reconfirm, I mentioned it during the work session for the URA, but Elaine Howard's ready to move forward with the sunset date change. I have a scope of work for her, and it's actually a very low cost. It's actually time and materials not to exceed, not a lot, so we can just pull the trigger on that administratively and get going quickly.
I think you have a lot of consensus on that. I think everybody's pretty excited about moving forward, so perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, let's move on to Lori and the calendar, because this is something that you and I have been.
Right, and I
putting much
didn't,
thought into.
I didn't include the calendars in because
It's a
there's
mess.
a lot of openings and
Yes.
yeah. We had people that were gonna be sworn, someone that was gonna be sworn in tonight that needs to go into the calendar, but I wasn't sure where, and so.
Well, so let's. Well, do you want to start with council appointments or the?
That's probably the easiest one to start
That's what I was
with,
So I need to come off MPAC. No, sorry, not MPAC, I'm sorry, Matt. Am I on Matt still? Oh, no, we did move. Council, you're on back. No, we just primary on that, didn't we?
I could be, yeah, if needed.
So we.
as needed, or
If needed, yes, that was what I don't.
So if somebody want to take.
right, so, okay, so here's what I have
Okay.
for sure. And I can email these to you all right now if you have a way to look at them, but, so. Counselor Hagedorn is gonna stay with the WACA 911. You wanted to keep that,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And Counselor Payton's gonna stay with, community development. Is that correct, Counselor Payton?
Correct.
Okay. And then, Mayor Dumbrow automatically goes to the Washington County Coordinating Committee, because that's for mayors, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what we have is the Metro Policy Advisory Committee, the MPAC, and the Metro Area Communications Commission, MAC. MPAC meets the fourth Wednesday of each month, from 5 to 7 in Portland. As a refresher, we are not a member of Metro, but we are invited to sit in on those, and you can speak to that more than I.
It's entertaining. It's usually, most of the mayors from Washington County sit on Zoom. It's good to know. I'm also a part, well, as a courtesy, I am also on the metropolitan area mayors association meetings and a couple other metro meetings. So this is a good one. If somebody wants to sit in, basically just sit there for 2 hours on a Wednesday night. I mean, you can comment if you want. I never did because it was mostly just informational for council and try to bring back stuff came up. So if anybody's interested in that, it's just a lot of understanding where Metro is going, and then it kind of informs the conversations I tend to have with Rowan and Bill and others. So you volunteered for MPAC.
I can do that.
Okay, Councilor Ford will take MPAC as primary,
Okay.
and
And for secondary, we're happy to,
okay,
if you need.
so Councilor Hagan will take secondary.
Okay.
Anyone who does not currently have an assignment would like to take MAC?
Council, tell me more, what's that?
Oh, sorry, MAC is Metropolitan Area Communications Commission, so this is one where we help determine like grants funding for things around metropolitan communication, so basically. We deal with Comcast, Ziply,
BBC, TV.
oh, CCTV, that thing.
Yeah, and so they meet quarterly, in Beaverton. They set the dates approximately 3 months ahead of time, and give notice, and they do have the Zoom option. But you are a voting member, because didn't you just vote
I
to
voted,
approve
yeah.
their budget, right?
Yeah, it's a light lift, but it's an important board for us to be represented at because they hopefully will give us a grant.
Counselor Weber, I would be willing.
All right, so we have Councilor Weber as primary. Do I have a secondary for Matt?
That can be secondary if you want.
Okay, Councilor DeFord is secondary on Matt. Hold on. Do I need any other secondary? Well, what about Washington County Communication, Community Development?
Community
Secondary?
development, we don't have an alternate,
Any alternates for the community development?
those are, second Thursday of each month from 7 to 9, and it says various locations throughout Washington County. Counselor Papen, do they have a Zoom option for the community development?
Yeah, I would say about 90% of the meetings are via Zoom. And then a couple times a year, there are in-person meetings at the Washington County Commissioner Chambers, and then a couple bus tours throughout the year that are optional. So it's mainly virtual.
I'll be second.
Councilor Hager on the stage, take second. Does anybody want secondary on WACA? If not, I'll take it.
I'll do secondary on WACA.
Okay, perfect. Great. Well, thank you all for volunteering. Appreciate that. It makes my and Lori's lives much easier. So,
Was that Counselor Redding that said they'd take second?
sorry, is it Councilor Redding or Councilor Payton?
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Papen, secondary for WACA.
Okay, thank you, Counselor Papen.
Okay, so now I'm gonna give it back to Lori for the 2026 City Council meeting calendar schedule. Because I think February is when we're mostly messed up.
Well, we just had a lot of openings, and so I didn't,
Yeah.
put it in there, and we, again, the first meeting of council is on the regular first Monday of the month, which is the second. The second council meeting, again, is on a Tuesday because Monday is, President's Day, Monday. So the meeting is Tuesday, the 17th of February for city council. And then economic development, I have Counselor Redding set as the ex officio on the 4th. Is that correct? She said yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and then the county coordinating meeting is Mayor Dumbrowse. And then Counselor Redding also is taking the Parks and Rec Board on the 9th and the Planning Commission on the 11th. There is a reason that she's doing this. She has some medical things coming up with one of her children that she's not sure of dates, and so she wanted to be sure she's getting her fair share of ex officio duties in, so
We
she,
appreciate that.
yeah, so she took, actually took all 4 of the ex officio duties for February, including library board on the 18th.
Thank you, Councilor Redding.
And
I'm
then
not
I will-
to someone else stepping in. I'm available. And like I said, I have things that could happen. But if our new counselors are eager and chomping at the bit, like tomorrow night, I am still quite sick. If somebody wants to take library board tomorrow night, I'm not opposed. And again,
Oh,
anyone's in.
we have, Counselor Weber, I thought, sorry, I thought Robin would get back to you, or I thought we were on a group email, but anyway, Counselor Weber took library board for tomorrow, so you can stay home and rest.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Please, please get over that kind of stuff. And then everything else is covered unless, like I said, unless you want to talk to Counselor Redding, anybody interested in taking any of those ex officio duties.
Should I jump in on the 18th for the library?
For February 18th?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Does that work for you, Councilor Redding?
Thank you so much, Counselor DeForge.
And then we're covered all the way up until June 3rd, and we can always, if somebody wants to jump in and volunteer at some point.
Yeah, I just kind of put some in so that
Yeah.
we were sure we were covered, and then, I will email Counselor DeForge tomorrow with
Yeah.
what I've got laid out already,
Perfect.
leaving spaces for the hopefully seventh
Seven.
and final council position to be filled, so that everybody's getting, usually everybody gets between 7 and 8 a year.
Don't get close to the election coming up.
And I don't think I put you in for too many yet, Mayor Dunbrow, maybe I should
Oh,
throw your name to a few more of those.
to speak up, you did nice.
That's right,
All right.
that's right.
Thank you for that, Laura, for getting this done.
And I will fill these out and email them all to you tomorrow with the information I have gathered
Thank you.
here, so.
I appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right, I think I skipped council reports. That's my mistake, sorry. So we'll go to council reports. So, let's start with Councilor Hagedorn, and then we'll pick up the two councilors online, Councilor, Bacon and Councilor Redding. Then we'll give the new councilors a chance to speak.
Nothing, to report. I do have a upcoming one-on-one with the director of WACA, in February, so let's see how it comes about.
Excellent. Councilor Payton.
Thank you. Since the December 17th meeting of the library board was canceled, I still have not had an ex officio meeting yet. So thank you to the stars aligning there. I will share coming up next week, I will be attending the CDBG home presentations for the policy advisory board. So I'll have more to report back at the next council meeting. But I will share, I'm starting to see some representation from North Plains in those meetings and very excited for what's to come.
Thank you, Councilor Redding.
I did attend planning commission, but Rowan did a fantastic job in her summary. And then, there was a lot of concern about prioritizing code. It sounds like, that was brought forward to Rowan, and now it's before 3J, or it's going before 3J. So that's planning commission in a quick little summary. And then my second thing is, Councilor Hagedorn and I are working on the subcommittee for the umbrella policy for boards, commissions, and committees. And we are wondering if, another councilor would like to join us. It's beginning to be quite a larger scope of work than we had anticipated.
Just to prevent any concerns on public meetings, I think we need to wait, Lori, correct, or Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we need to wait till we have a full council before we add a third person to the sub.
Oh, okay.
I'm just checking, I'm verifying.
A quorum of this body, because it's 7 members, is always 4, so
Okay.
you're still
So we
flying.
can do a sub with 3.
Correct, but it's always still 4, because it's a majority
Okay.
of the full body.
Okay.
Whether or not seats are filled.
But
Attorney just sent out an email reinforcing that.
Okay.
fact, so that's why it's fresh in the mind.
Good.
So yeah, you're fine.
So is there another counselor that would like to step in? It's basically is trying to give give boards and commissions more specific. This is the top level that we want to see, and then that way there's less, so that they can just kind of take that and add what they need to. Kind of like a supremacy clause in the state constitution, where obviously we inherit laws from the state. If that makes sense. So is there another counselor, sorry, I would like to work on this, Jaden. But,
When do you meet?
We're flexible.
they're ready.
Councilor Weber?
Okay. So counselors, Councilor Weber will join you, and, he'll only join if there's snacks though. I heard that.
I've got a 3-year-old. I've got lots of snacks done.
There you go.
Good.
Just make sure that whatever you do, the 3 of you keep it contained, and then bring it to the full council, just so that we don't risk any public meeting violations. We want to make sure that we're doing things, following the procedures.
Thank you. That's it.
Um,
My reports.
Thank you. Councilor Weber, anything to report?
No, I am going to attend my first meeting tomorrow with Robin and the library folks, so I'm looking forward to that.
I believe there may be snacks there too. Yes, Robin's very good at that. You never know. Councilor DeFoe.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess I'd like to start off by wishing Councilor Page well and his new job. And for the record, I wanted to really appreciate the finance report about the audit. I think having a clear plan to resolve our deficiencies is really wonderful. I appreciate that. I was going to suggest if we get a report once a month that maybe if it was prepared by Marina and Associates, it could list, let's see, what work has been completed, what remains, and current estimated completion date. Just trying to avoid misunderstandings about how our progress is moving along. I also noticed that in the finance report, we didn't talk about fiscal year that ended in June of 2025. So I believe that would also be overdue at this point. And if we could include that in our plan, I think that would be great. And then by the time we all finish this, we're going to be working on June 2026. So thank you for taking that on.
So I won't speak for Bill, but I think if I understood him correctly, once we complete the 22, then every other one should be done within 45 to 60 days thereafter, give or take. Is that what I understood? Wrong, Mike?
Mayor, that's generally correct. Again, the auditor does tax returns, so March, April will be a little bit of a drag on process, but it's sort of scheduled to be one after the other.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So just a couple more comments. I did want to comment about the park board report on page 19 about the disciplinary items. So usually in my previous boards, we wouldn't put a disciplinary item in the board report. And I also noticed that it was done after the council came to a conclusion and contradicted the council conclusion. So that seemed kind of inconsistent to me. And my final comment is the public comment. Emily was commenting on how North Plains is set up differently than other Oregon cities. And that kind of caught my attention. I'm kind of passionate about making sure the North Plains democracy is the same as other cities. That was the purpose.
Thank you. So I'll comment on that. We're actually not substantively different. There's only a couple different types of government in Oregon cities. Also, just to clarify, I'll go reread Resolution 2285 that Emily Waldron brought up, but it does say, and I may be wrong on this, but I believe the way that I read the council rules is mayor or city manager set the agenda, and Bill and I by consent do it together. That's how we create an agenda. He and I sit down, spend about an hour, and work through what we think it's going to be, and then kind of come to consensus.
Mayor, would you entertain me reading that particular part of the rule?
Like, it'll be perfect. Quick run.
So this is in city council rules adopted by that resolution that was mentioned under section D, item 2, and I'll just read it right to you. The city manager will prepare and schedule agenda items. The city manager may omit from the agenda one or more agenda headings if there are no items for city council consideration under that heading. Members of the city council may request that items be placed on an agenda at any council meeting or by communications with the city manager. The city council will make its best efforts to reach consensus on agenda items and should obtain staff input before requesting an agenda item. Agendas will generally be set to allow meetings to end no later than 10 p.m. If the city council is still in session at 9:30 p.m., then the council will decide whether to continue with the agenda or move items to a future agenda. So what I would just underscore there is I'm responsible for putting together your agenda and getting it out and making sure things get on there that you all as a body want. And this meeting, you can email me but setting the agenda, really, you all need to kind of come to consensus about what goes on it. And then it's my job to make sure you talk about it at the meeting you wanted to talk about. I don't set the agenda. I don't set the policies. That's your sphere. But I want to make sure that you all are getting everything on there that you want and talk about. So I don't want there to be a misunderstanding about what the city manager's powers are versus what you do and ask me to do.
So yes, and if you have agenda items you want, please bring them up during council reports, and if you can't do it at that point, if it's too late, email Bill and I, and then we can figure out something that fits where we think, or if we feel like it needs to go back to council reports, we'll just say, please bring some council reports. But generally, I think I can speak for most items. We've gotten them on the agenda, because most of them support the pillars that the council set out last year. People want to talk about, so we try to let that guide us, and that's what the strategic plan is. Also wanted to respond to Tara Van Dyke on the appointment process. So that is outlined in section 30, I think, of the code, and essentially the entire appointment process is there. Counselor, there have been a couple of, since we've done this enough times now, we have some recordings on how we do this, but generally the counselors are allowed to ask questions and then they vote. Hopefully after Councilor Page, we won't be doing this anymore. So after Councilor Page's position is filled. I did have a couple of items as well. We do need to get a state of the city done. I'd like to get that done in March. So I'll be working on dates. If you have a date that's preferable, it'll probably be, well, definitely be a weeknight. But I'd like to get it done in March. And also if counselors or if the public have things that they, things that the city's accomplished that we want to talk about, it's a great time to get those out and try and focus on some of the achievements and some of the great wins in our city. So if you have, I'm going to work on the dates. If you have dates, shoot me a note, or dates that don't work, where you'll be out of town. I'd like to have as many of the councils there as possible. Except for people who are sick, they're not allowed to come. So Councilor Redding get well before then. And then also we will need to do a council offsite again. For those of you that were with us last time, we did, it was 8 or 9 hours on a Sunday. And of course we had a catered lunch, which was awesome. But we all, we kind of worked through some things. So there's two things I'd like to put on that, and if you have other items, we can talk about that. But the two main things that we need to accomplish are, we need to come up with a strategic plan, which is essentially taking our pillars, putting them into SMART goals. So, specific, measurable, achievable, timely, and relevant and timely, sorry. And how we're going to track those, because my intent, and based on the feedback from council, but my intent is to come back to those every so often and measure, are we doing what we said we would do? Are we achieving the goals that we set out to do? We'll do the best we can. Obviously, we won't hit all of them, but I want to make sure we have goals that we can work on and that we can highlight where we're succeeding. And we can also correct deficiencies as we go. The other thing is we need to talk about, how we work together. We'll have 3, hopefully by then, new counselors, like new counselors this year, and as well as 3 relatively new counselors from last year. So we'll work on, there'll be some things where we'll just kind of have some discussion on how we operate as a council, some of the roles of council, roles of staff, things like that. So that'll be a general meeting. So what I would ask from council is please give me 2 to 3 days that will work for you. It needs to be a Saturday and or a Sunday. And if you email me those by the end of the week, I'm looking to get that set up with Bill, because it does require staff and it does require, catering and other things. And then I recall correctly, Bill, I believe that is a public meeting. Public is allowed. I don't remember.
Yes, we'll notice that.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, but yes.
And there is no public comment for those meetings, just to be clear. But you're welcome to come and join us, and you can make faces if you want.
Dates and when?
Dates, and then, well, I guess in the next, call it 4 weeks. We gotta get it done.
Within the next 4 months.
Within the next 4 weeks, yeah. So we need to get that done, and then also if there's dates that will not work for you in March for the state of the city, that'll be a weeknight, and we'll figure out where that's going to be. I think that's typically here at Jesse Mays, Bill. Is that correct?
That would work best,
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. And with that, I did have a meeting. I met with Senator Merkley. On Friday, it was not a very good politician, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. It was interesting, and let's see what else. We had the Washington County Mayor's meeting and the Metropolitan Area Mayor's meeting that I get to sit in on, even though I'm not a Metropolitan Area Mayor. Lots of entertainment to be had. There's definitely going to be a lot of challenges with county funding. I did have a meeting with Commissioner Treese, who is running for chair. And I had the same conversation I had with her with the current chair that please do not even consider raising the DMV fees, and we've got to find more ways to work together on keeping fees down and looking at service prioritization, because the county's currently running a fairly large deficit, and we need to solve that without without pricing people out of their homes, I guess I'll say. So that was my feedback to the commissioner and to all the commissioners, is, we're happy to work together, but we want to sit at the table on this, and we want to be a part of the process. So we're trying to build some positive relationships there. I think I have a meeting with Senator Bonamici, but I can't remember when it is, so I apologize. I'll let you know when that is. I think all the councilors received that, if I remember right. And then the last thing is Peak Chiropractic. If you're not going to the PAC event, please come down to Peak Chiropractic. It's going to be a great event where there'll be multiple chambers of commerce, including our own North Plains. We'd love to see more people there, and just please support your local businesses. We want more of them, but we've got to support them if we want them to keep coming back. And with that, there is a piece on the RAP info session, so just take a look at that. There are some good services there for people to keep an eye on. And with that, there's nothing else. We are adjourned at 8:27.